So another day, another just weird situation, with CaitlinClark and Indiana Fever and people around the organization. We obviously have seen the Scott Agnes article here, where he basically said that CaitlinClark, basically that CaitlinClark brings a dark side to the Fever, and her fans are like a negative on the team, and it's a struggle dealing with her fans.
Is the Fever genuinely considering trading CaitlinClark? Yes. The vibes and murmuring on the internet are becoming more bizarre than a halftime mascot race. Did she get too many points? Too much of a smile? Too many jerseys sold? There's something off, and it's not the pregame meal. Stay tuned as we delve into the confusion, make connections, and perhaps unearth the most ridiculous front office decision ever. Take out your popcorn. This will be more attractive than a third Caitlin logo.
Another good win by the Indiana Fever today versus the Seattle Storm, but I got a big concern with CaitlinClark, man. So looks like the Fever been figuring things out, man. So let's just say Clark comes back toward the end of the season. Fever do their thing in the playoff. Let's just say, for the sake of my argument, the Fever win the championship, man. With CaitlinClark having missed pretty much most of the regular season, would this championship not hold that much weight? Because I can already see the haters saying she missed most of the
Let's be clear. The Fever may as well hand out "we quit" signs with each ticket stump if they decide to trade CaitlinClark. You believed that traffic in Indiana was terrible? Watch the throng of supporters running to the squad that receives number 22. What do they get in exchange for the most marketable, talked about, and Googled player in women's sports? A bag containing a potential second-round pick and a few slightly used warm-up towels.
He literally said, and he was like, there are some people that are not here for basketball, not here for the Fever, but are only here for CaitlinClark. It's like, if you're a fan of a player and you're here for the basketball and you're there watching games and everything, you're a fan of a player playing basketball. I don't see there's an issue with that. And according to his thing, to him, he was talking about how it was such a struggle for the team, and obviously he's someone who has access to the team. And he mentioned that, the fans coming on saying fires.
As Clark is the main event, the Fever's arena would go from packed to echo chamber faster than you could say, worst trade in sports history. She's not only selling out games, but entire cities every time she takes the court. Concession stands are completely destroyed, merchandise tables resemble a looted Black Friday aisle, and then all of a sudden, everyone's grandma has a number 22 jersey, and you're telling us that they throw that away like yesterday's box score.
I was a little disappointed in Sophie's take is that, she's right. It's just that she did say, and I thought this was a better explanation, she was saying that when she played in Phoenix, that she was in the locker room, and so many of the players in the locker room were saying things like, oh, we're going to show CaitlinClark what the W is really about, and would sort of go after her. And in some ways you can understand that because she was a rookie in the league. But ultimately, when you see all this vitriol of people who cannot stand her, it's like, okay, well, what has she done wrong? Yeah, she's a great basketball player, so...
In other words, math is not math. The one player that elevated your club from background noise to major drama is not someone you deal. Prior to Clark, the majority of WNBA players were unable to recognize the Fever insignia in a lineup. They are now the league's Beyoncé. Trending, front, and center. That isn't coaching. Caitlin is that person.
She's a badass and a trash talker and gives it as good as she gets it. And she is an object of scorn for good reason. She's awesome. She's swaggery. She does turn your home crowd into a road crowd. She is a frustrating player to guard all of it. And if she is, for some of these teams, a bit of a villain, that's sweet. It only will make her better. She is already one of the 3 or 4 best players in the sport, as a lot of us thought she would be in short.
They would also be attempting to become relevant if they made a trade. Because Clark is more than just a player, let's face it. She is a media machine on wheels. She is followed by cameras as if she were a debt to them. Every shot she makes is featured on your cousin's TikTok, 3 podcasts, and 5 separate sports broadcasts. If you trade her, the spotlight will disappear. Poof. In mid-June, fade away like your playoff ambitions. This is where things get even better. Clark would instantly become a member of America's team, regardless of which team landed. Immediately. It makes no difference if it's a team in a place with more cows than people, Minnesota or Seattle. Suddenly, the team has more fans than the Super Bowl when you put that number 22 on a jersey. More quickly than Caitlin can shoot a logo 3, that team will go from who to take my money. The Fever would be attempting to hype up a gritty rebuild while sitting in a quiet arena. How cute, oh. They believe that effective defense and community outreach are the only reasons for the abrupt increase from 2,000 spectators and a popcorn machine to sold-out stadiums. It's like believing that the churros are the main reason people visit Disneyland. Mickey Mouse was the reason they came. Macintosh is Caitlin.
Indiana Fever posted this about CaitlinClark to give the official what is going on with Caitlin's injury. So they said CaitlinClark underwent further medical evaluations earlier this week, which confirmed that no additional injuries or damage was discovered. Clark will continue working with the medical team on her recovery and rehabilitation with the priority on her long-term health and well-being. There is no timetable available for her return. But I do think it's interesting that ESPN has listed August 12th as a possible return date for CaitlinClark. But the internet noticed something specific that Holly Rowe had to say on the broadcast. Holly Rowe said that before the last return after a quad injury, she had no...
This fan base isn't typical. This movement is full-fledged. These folks aren't merely observing. They're on the road. They're publishing. They are transforming WNBA League Pass into the summer's most popular streaming service. If Clark is performing trick shots in a different city, do you believe they'll stay and support the Fever's upcoming chapter? Not at all. Like Swifties, but with superior free throw form, they will follow her wherever. There is a naive belief that the squad will remain competitive and the supporters would remain devoted after Clark leaves. In response, I respectfully wish you well. Because you're not even close to replacing her with a genetically modified super player who can win MVP, sell tickets, play point, hit threes, and kill boredom all at once. You're experiencing regrets and tumbleweeds. Let's discuss money. It wouldn't only be a poor basketball decision to trade CaitlinClark. It would be considered financial malpractice. It would be like Apple firing Tim Cook and bringing in a Roomba to replace him if they let her go.
You know, she didn't play most of the games to get them to the playoffs, all of that. She won a championship and she was hurt most of the season and the team was out there winning games without her. I can already see people saying that, man. So I'm just curious, man, because I'm thinking damn, Clark has missed a lot of this time. You play the regular season and get to the playoffs. Clark has missed, most of the season so far. So if she won a title this year, having been injured most of this season, and then her first championship would be her being hurt most of the time, how would that championship rank for y'all? Would it not hold that much weight? Would it just be, a win is a win, whatever?
And don't even begin with the argument that it might be better for all parties. Who is it best for? The bookkeepers? The merchandiser, who needs to print team effort shirts out of the blue since nobody else is purchasing anything else? At 2 in the morning, the PR intern was rewriting tweets to clarify why the arena was only half full. Addition by subtraction is not what this is. It's delusion-based subtraction. A lesson in how to burn down your own home while congratulating yourself on finding fire would be provided by trading Clark. You would simply be contributing disruption and perhaps a new round of questions about where everything went wrong to the team. Consider parts. These days, it's not just about basketball. It's momentum, cultural influence, identity, and brand. Therefore, there isn't a trade deal worth the backlash unless the Fever have secretly figured out how to clone Caitlin, taught the clone to shoot better, talk sassier, and appear even cooler in slow motion. There isn't a lineup of players, picks, and pledges that can light up the scoreboard, fill stadiums, and ignite social media like she does.
Clear about this? If CaitlinClark were not in the WNBA, we would not be talking about the WNBA. She is the only ticket draw in the WNBA. A large percentage of all tickets sold in the WNBA are so people can watch CaitlinClark play basketball. No one cares about Angel Reese. She'd be drawing flies if she were playing not against CaitlinClark on the court right now. Angel Reese has basically become the Bill Laimbeer to Caitlin Clark's Larry Bird, essentially.
Ultimately, the message is straightforward. You cannot expect the planet to continue orbiting as if nothing had happened after trading the sun. The entire galaxy changes when you trade Caitlin Clark. Hopefully, you won't be the ones left out. At this point, reality begins to do backflips and logic formally taps out. The individuals in charge of this operation appear to believe that the fever is the reason why followers are watching. The word Indiana itself, along with its emblem and colors, has a mysterious power over millions of people, as if a mid-range hit song by someone other than Caitlin would keep everyone in the country glued to their TVs. Let's face it, this fan base would much sooner follow Clark to the league's weakest team than act as though they care about a competitive roster without her. Do you believe that a rebuilding arc has people interested? Not at all. They have a strong interest in the Clark movie universe. The entire cast is not the reason they are here. The primary character is the reason they are here. This was demonstrated the previous season, when fans followed every Iowa game as if it were the NBA Finals before dissipating as soon as the Fever season ended. The playoffs? I've never heard of them. Someone seems to have pressed Caitlin's emergency exit button, and poof. Ratings declined, social media went into hibernation, and attendance fell.
That she's the face of the league, and that's understandable because there have been fantastic players in the WNBA for a long time. But Caitlin didn't disparage them. She just came in and kind of changed the game with her style. So I think it's one of those things where you have to say, okay, maybe I don't think it's fair based on the previous women who have been in this league, but it's not Caitlin's fault. All she's done is elevate the game for all of us, and I think instead of being pissed off about that, you should be appreciative of that and say, maybe it's not fair, but it's not your fault.
You're not dealing with a vague fandom here. For her fan base, this is a ride or die, burn the boat, or storm the court situation. They weren't here to be loyal to the team. Clark made basketball seem like magic, which is why they came here. She coolly leaves like it's just another Tuesday after dropping 30, like it's a warm-up and staring down defenders like she's creating a diss track in her brain. Do you really believe those fans are there to see these freshly drafted replacements miss 3 consecutive layups and gritted defensive sets? Not a chance. In actuality, you could still sell out the building if you gave Caitlin a jersey and a group of real scarecrows. She might play for a team that has 2 ball racks, 1 functional scoreboard, and no defense. The majority of teams hope to develop a devoted following over many years. When Clark appears, there is an immediate following, immediate significance, and worldwide interest. She smashed the needle off the dial rather than merely moving it. She has more fans than anyone else in the league. It surpasses the entire existence of some teams. One walking highlight